What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures. As always, I am Tony, again being joined by another guest. I'm being happy with how this is going. Guys are responding, and they're coming on the show, so it makes me very happy. That being said, today I'm rolling with a good one, an awesome guest. He hosts a ton of videos on his channel, from reviews to kitbashes, toy news, and all things in between. He's 1/3 of the Mega Powers podcast, which that's how I found you. That name caught my eye instantly, being a part of the wrestling business. So as soon as I saw Mega Powers, I was like, I got to watch these guys. From the, I assume it's not the Toy Garage, but if it is, Angelo of Toy Gains, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tony. It is a toy garage. No cars are in that garage. It's all toys all day. And I customize. I do my reviews in there. And it's been good so far.
You inspired me. You inspired me to do the same thing with my garage. I'm in the process of cleaning it up and turning it into my own little toy universe.
Good, because as a collector, space is everything.
Oh,
Space
for real.
Space is our Darth Vader. Our thing is our enemy. You know what I mean?
I couldn't agree with that more. Right now, I just got everything in bins, and it's just driving me crazy. I hate seeing it like that.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a hoarder rather than a collector.
Exactly. So I can't get it just drives me crazy. But anyway, let's just get to the questions, man. I've been excited to ask you some of these because, like I said, I've been watching your channel. I'm a big fan of your kit bashes, man. You got some talent, dude, for real. Like,
thank you.
Legit, really good. But first things first, like I ask all the guests, what got you into collecting? When did it start? And what was the first toy you saw that was like, oh man, this is going to start a slippery slope?
Great questions, and I think I have we all have our stories. It's what makes us collectors, right? Without a doubt, my mother got me into collecting. I mean, obviously, she bought my first toy, but I think, I try to work backwards. Try to approach this as where it began. I loved 66 Batman. I loved the goofy live-action Spider-Man show. She bought me the Mego figures.
Oh, wow.
So my first toys were action figures. My first, of course I had Play-Doh and Lego and the barn with all the animals that make noise and shit. We've all had that.
Yeah.
But my wasn't Star Wars. My first action figures were the Mego Spider-Man and Mego Batman. And I loved them to death. And then I got Iron Man. I got the goofy Thor with the Barbie hair. And my mother was a good partner in understanding that I had a passion for toys. It was more than just mashing them together. Like, I would see the way neighborhood kids would put firecrackers in their Cobra vehicles and blow them up. I would I would lose my mind. It was an obsession from the beginning. And I really, when you say the first toy they got me into it, I have a story for that because it sits in my brain. It never really stopped. People would say you're still playing with toys, but I didn't really play with them. I collected them. And the first time I got money from an allowance and went to the mall, I bought a Wingnut TMNT figure at the mall. I'm in 7th grade. I should be into girls and stuff like that. Right. I'm at the mall and I bought Wingnut as a collector because I didn't want to go home and play with Wingnut.
Yeah.
I just was fascinated by the sculpt and the paint and the mold. So it would have to be that Wingnut figure when I was about 13 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's I've always just appreciated the art.
Yeah.
Everything from the packaging to the back of the box, the things that draw you into a line.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the end product, the figure itself.
That's very, very different in that aspect because I'm always about playing with them. But I took care of them because I knew what they meant in terms of playing with them in the future and stuff like that. So if I would have saw somebody blowing things out, and trust me, I've seen the same thing with firecrackers and stuff. It just was like, what are you? Oh my God, what are you doing?
I think that's why Storm Shadow when I was a kid. I loved Storm Shadow so much because that backpack allowed you to hold the swords and the bow clicked in, and I was like, oh, this is my best figure because everything is there.
Yeah.
Or every other figure was just loose. You know what I mean?
You always look a chance of losing it, and you most of the time did. I always lost the stuff, especially when
Yeah.
I had nowhere to put it.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Heartbreaking.
yeah. Always happened with the turtles for me, and it like would always break my heart when you find one Sai or one one sword from Leonardo.
Oh, yeah, drive you nuts, especially with Raphael.
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's like God damn it.
Yeah.
So currently in your collection, what is your favorite figure? Like every time you look at it, you're just like, man, I'm so happy I have that one.
You know, I get asked that a lot, and I always go back. I have them right here. And it's not a toy. It's a toy.
That's a nice one.
It's not your average pick up and play toy. I know
Yeah.
it's an expensive piece, but this movie, this character, this actor encapsulates everything good in the hobby and good in Hero. So I think pound for pound, if everything caught on fire, I would save my daughter and my wife and my child. He would be number 4.
Yeah. That's a good one, man. Yeah, do you have a lot of hot toys, or is that just a few?
I do. I have about 20. I'm done, though.
wow,
I'm done
wow.
with hot toys.
Really? Oof. Never jumped off that cliff, man. I couldn't do it.
I'll do it. I was so into it, but then I got back to the fun aspect of painting and ripping them apart, kit bashing, posing them. You can't really do that with a hot toy because there's a delicacy to them.
Yeah, for real, for real. I saw one in person like once, and I was just like, man, these things they're something else.
I do tell every collector you should own at least one.
Yeah, yeah,
Own one and have it be like your favorite character. You know.
exactly. I wanted. I don't know if they made this or if it was another company, but the Arkham Knight, that Batman, I really wanted that Batman.
Yeah.
So, I see a lot of toys, obviously, on your wall and stuff like that, and when you show them in your garage. But what are some of your favorite lines?
Okay, well, here's the funny one, and I like to bring this up because a lot of people, a lot of toy tubers, they always talk about nostalgia with the hobby, right?
Yeah.
Like we collect for nostalgia. We collect G.I. Joe, He-Man. I love collecting DC Multiverse, and for me, other than Batman and Robin, and obviously Superman, I wasn't a huge DC fan growing up.
Okay.
I was a Marvel kid. So I collect it purely off the sculpts, the price point, the ability to pop them apart and make your own figure if you want to, like I did with recently. It's a very fun, cheap toy line to collect, and I know a lot of people knock it, but the line is doing well, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, very true.
When you can get a good figure for a good price, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? It's the two
absolutely.
great combinations.
Absolutely, I found that with the Jada Toys nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything you need for $25.
Absolutely.
So, for some reason, and I think because I wasn't a huge DC fan, so when it's like I learned something new about the character, like Wally West. I had no idea who the hell he was. Or Kid Flash. I get this figure, and I'm like, oh, it's a cool figure, and now I want to find out about him. So there's two parts to it.
It's an era of mystery because like you never really explored that comic book universe.
Yeah, I know who Wolverine is. I know who Spider-Man is. I know who Punisher is. Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the things I will say about McFarlane because I was the same boat, man. I was more Marvel than DC. I mean, I stayed up to kind of date with Batman because he was like when like the first comic book I ever received was from a gift from my father. It was Batman, so Batman kind of always stayed with me. But the other DC characters, I couldn't care less about at that time. I was so into Marvel.
Batman's the guy though.
Yeah. So now when I'm like you, like if I walk past a DC universe figure and it catches my eye, I'm just kind of interested to see who that is, and you wind up going home and kind of basically researching the whole back history of him and everything like that.
It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a contagious trait. I will agree with that.
Yes, I definitely I just went nuts with the line over the past 2 years. I pre-order everything. I search them out, and then, like I said, the price point is fair.
Mm-hmm.
So to buy a Mezco figure, it's $100, right?
I have a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah, right. and they're great figures. But for you can get 5 McFarlane DC Multiverse figures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not as good, but that's
but
like the holder.
I'm one of those. And like if they break, then you're like, I only spent 25. Like if a Mezco breaks, I'm furious.
Heartbroken.
Yeah. I saw the video you just posted about the Batman that you got at GameStop. Like that's a great find, man, because I know that is selling out all over the internet and shit like that.
Yes,
that's impressive.
That Batman. Yeah, you get lucky sometimes. I call them the toy gods when you know they shine on you when you get that toy.
So now, obviously, you know that with every hobby, with every interest comes some negatives. Yep. What do you think of some negatives of this hobby? If you had to like warn somebody before they wanted to get into toy collecting.
Oh, there's a few negatives, and I don't like exclusives.
Okay.
I think everything that's an exclusive is a built-in excuse for a company. And people that take NECA for example. NECA made a deal with the devil to put Ninja Turtles exclusively to Target.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't like stuff like that. And you can come up with any excuse in the world, but I would prefer a company look for an excuse not to do it.
Okay.
Like, say initially it has to sell at Target, but then a month later it could be everywhere. I hate that about the hobby. People complain about resellers. That's been going on forever. I've grown to kind of accept that. But I don't like when lines don't end.
Okay.
Because then you'll be buying something forever. Like you'll be buying Luke Skywalker. It's cool for some people to keep remaking a figure, but in some regards, it's fun to complete stuff. So
yeah,
that
I
could
agree.
You know what I mean?
It's one of the reasons why I stopped collecting Marvel Legends, because it's like, I mean, I can only buy but so many Wolverines before I'm like,
That's it.
All right, like, I mean, I have 1,000.
Something in your brain will tell you, I need it. They changed the underwear.
Yeah,
They changed the claws. Oh my
Exactly.
God. Like.
I mean, that's why I'm glad like all of these like crazy lines are starting to come out. It's because it's kind of like diverting you and it's giving you options. Like for a while, I just stuck with Marvel Legends because I felt like DC didn't really have a good until they got McFarlane. Didn't really have. I wasn't really a big fan of the other of the multiverse figures.
No, they had weird legs.
Yeah, so like I really wasn't into collecting DC. I was just so. But eventually got to a point where I was just like, I have everybody I could want, and just as I said that, the G.I. Joe Classified line came out and the Masterverse line. I'm like, okay, now I can divert my attention somewhere else and really sink my teeth into another collecting craze or whatever.
Sure.
So I got a couple more questions here before we can just shoot the breeze and shit.
I love it. This is fun.
Okay, this is a good one. I always ask, everybody always has a hard time answering this. What figure haven't they made that you're like, man, why haven't they made that one yet? Or I'm just waiting for this one to come out. Any line, any character.
I talk about this a lot because, just when you think they made everything, you're always like, oh, they haven't made this. The guy I want to see be made into a figure before he dies and then me, because I'm going to expire too, as it's said, reality of life, is I know he had a figure in the 80s, or his corny cartoon, but I would like to see a Chuck Norris, like, NECA figure or Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Like Schwarzenegger and Rocky and Stallone and all these guys, even Van Damme now has a figure. I would love to see a Chuck Norris figure. A lot of
people sleep on Delta Force and stuff like that too. Like
movie.
Yeah, that would be a great character, like a great action figure.
Invasion USA is a great time.
Yeah. Hell, I'd even take a Walker Texas Ranger.
And listen, that was the dad of dad shows, right?
Yeah, for real.
So it's like,
yeah. Hell, I'll still watch it when the reruns are on.
It's a good, it's underrated show.
Yeah, it is, man. That's a good one, man. I would definitely jump on a Chuck Norris figure because I almost jumped on that Van Damme figure, but then I'm like, it looks good. But I'm like, ugh, do I really want a movie figure? That's my thing. I don't really collect the movie figures.
Oh, okay. I see. I collect freaking everything.
I see that behind you. I see all that.
I'm out of control.
There is one figure you have. I see it on all your videos, and I always gotta. Is that the Storm Collectibles Mike Tyson figure?
Yeah.
Is that figure worth it? Because I've been trying.
Top 5.
Really? All right. Because I really want that figure so bad.
Now there's 2. There's one with the newer Tyson with the tattoo face, and then there's old Nintendo Punch Out Tyson.
Yeah, that's the one I want.
The one that I recommend. He's top 5 figure.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Because I was eyeing him on your wall. I'm like, where did he get that Tyson figure? I was like, that one is awesome.
So when I first saw that figure was at Comic-Con and Storm Collectibles was there. A guy in front of me bought the last one, and I was like, oh, I was ready to freaking cry.
Yeah.
A guy in a booth was like, hey, I got that at my store. I'll send you the link, and he sent it to me, and I don't know where that price point is of that figure right now, but even if it's 150, it's I think it was 125 at retail. If it floats around 150, that's a decent price. Totally.
Okay, yeah, because I've actually seen it on a few sites at that price, and I was like, is it too much? All right,
Nope.
so definitely take your advice, because that is definitely a figure I want. I wanted that one and the Michael Jordan one.
Awesome too.
Yeah, because I was really I'm obviously a big fan of '90s basketball and all that stuff.
The Tyson figure, you'll get them in a pose. You'll look online. Us toy dorks will look at an image of the character online.
Yeah.
You'll get them in that pose, and for a brief moment, you'll feel like you have frickin' Mike Tyson in the palm of your hand. It's great.
That's sick, man.
I'm about to go get them right now and freaking play with them.
That's awesome, dude. So that brings me to my next point, because since we're bringing up price points, what was the most you've ever spent on a figure where even you were like, that was a that was a dangerously large purchase?
That was I did this a few weeks ago, and the Mezco turtles. I don't like that price point, but I knew they were such works of art. I had to have them, and I was like, I don't like a big hit.
Yeah.
To your paycheck.
Those were what for about 400.
I had to pay $450 because it was secondhand shop.
Oh wow, okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I did see your review on that. They did look pretty stellar,
Very
man.
good. They are like that Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
They're in that air of like, this is next level.
Mezco did me dirty with Conan, because I'm a huge Conan the Barbarian fan. That's like that guy goes back to my childhood. That was my first bond with my father. Was watching the Ernie Arnold movies, right? So when that went up for pre-order, naturally I pulled the trigger on it, and then it sold out. And I'm like, hey man, where's mine? And they're like, oh well, you gotta wait on the wait list now. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't the point of pre-order
Sure.
to make sure you get it on like when it comes out? I was like, that should be something you tell you. So I got real mad at them for that, and then I bit the bullet, and then I bought it was supposed to be the 3-pack of the Justice League, Snyder's Justice League, and that shit took forever to drop.
3 years.
Yeah, so when it finally dropped, I had no mind. I'm like, oh, now you decided to shock it.
I say this about Mezco: love the product, hate the company.
Yeah, no, for real, for real. I was very disappointed in them, so I was like, you know what? I just won't go back. So that's why I didn't get the turtles, because I'm thinking it's just gonna be another bullshit where they wait and wait and wait, and then all of a sudden it just comes out of nowhere, and your wallet takes a huge hit.
It's the worst.
Yeah, now I'm seeing all these awesome photographers. Like I saw your review, and I'm like, God damn, those turtles are nice. Those turtles are nice.
They're very nice. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah, like I got the Eastman Laird Mirage ones, the NECA vert. I like those. I think those are pretty good.
Oh, definly.
Yeah, I think
my
those
movie turtles are still
I have those too.
Works of art.
Yeah, I have those too. I'm a big fan of those. So when did you decide to come to YouTube and bring your love of toys to the masses, and start the Toy Gains channel?
Okay, so I've been on YouTube doing goofy shit for years with other friends. You're making like fake horror movies, shooting fake ketchup in our faces to look like we're getting killed, and just as a goof. Every once in a while, I would buy a figure and we'd throw up a review of it. I never took it serious. For some reason, last January, I just said, you know what? I wanted to have it be a part of the hobby. Like, you buy a figure, you play with it, you take a picture of it, you put it on the shelf, and that's where it spends its toy life, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to add one more wrinkle to that toy, and I felt reviewing it was the only wrinkle, you know what I mean? And I didn't know how people would perceive me because I'm not the most advanced person with computers. I don't have the best camera. I don't have the best sound equipment, lighting, all that shit. And people started liking me. And I was like, I could just be myself, and people are cool with it. And that's what gave me the confidence to continue. Just here I am. Here's what you're going to get. Take it or leave it. I'm here to just talk about the toy. It's not really about me. And so far, so good. And it was just a decision to add to the hobby.
That's listen. I couldn't agree more. It was the same reason I did it. Like, I was just sitting in here building stuff, kit bashing, and watching like all other channels, like Articulated
Yeah,
Ninja, a couple other guys, and I'm
sure,
just like, you know, I'm not saying that like I do it better or anything like that, but I think I could just add a different perspective. So I would just
yes,
like to just spew my opinion. You don't have to like same way. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to agree with it. But just if anybody wants
yeah,
to shoot the breeze, and I don't want to kind of sidetrack, but I'm diagnosed with severe social anxiety. I can't like I have trouble leaving the house and stuff.
okay,
So I
outlet,
decided, I need a way to kind of meet the people in this community that have the
yeah,
same interests and passions that I do. And then I think the best way to do that is maybe start a podcast within the comfort of my own home where I can just reach out this way and just
sure,
meet people. And if I ever see them at conventions or anything, now we're not strangers no more. So
sure.
now I won't feel as like freaked out, you know?
It's, right. It's funny you said so. 2009, before YouTube was like a big thing, and adult collecting was around. I mean, there's always been adult collectors, but it was like I don't want to say taboo. I just don't think people were as comfortable as they
Yeah.
are now.
No, yeah, absolutely.
So I was seeing some girl at the time, and she saw all my toys and was like, "What the hell is this?" Well, she wasn't like she didn't give a shit, but she ended up telling her friend, and this guy heard this story, couldn't believe it, that an adult had Optimus Prime still and He-Man. So I ended up becoming closer to him than the freaking girl.
Yeah. I notice that
So
happens a lot, man. When people hear about my collection and stuff, they're like, "Can I come see it?"
I gotta go see it. This
Yeah,
is
I
yeah,
got to see this thing, and it's just like they live vicariously through you because
sure.
they're not gonna collect the toys and stuff like that.
Or for some reason, a lot of dudes are like ashamed that they'll buy something and they won't tell anybody. Like
Yeah,
it's some like you're not buying a freaking dildo, dude. It's a GI Joe
just an
figure.
action figure, man. That was
Yeah, you,
one of the things you accept kind of as you get older, I guess.
yeah.
As I got older, I was just like, you buy what you want. Who gives
Oh,
a
it's
shit when
fine.
anybody
Even if it
says
is
that?
that dildo. Listen, we all have our things to keep sane.
Yeah.
I say, like, as long as it's not hurting anyone and your bills are paid, you know.
True words couldn't be spoken, brother. For real.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to start kit bashing action figures?
Okay. It's funny. I like these questions because you know what? Want to know my first? I mean, I don't. I'm sure other kids did this. I'm not like Einstein here. The GI Joes had the screw in the back.
Yeah.
Remember taking them apart and making your own figure? Did you do that as well?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I had to have an articulated Wolverine. So that technically, I took toothpicks and like taped them around the guy's hands. I took cardboard to get like the wings on his head.
Yeah.
But technically, my first Kit Bash figure, I was like 12. As an adult, I took. Remember when the A-Team movie came out and like Mr. T was played by like a UFC fighter?
Yeah, Rampage Jackson. Yeah.
Rampage. That toy line wasn't bad, and they actually had the little A-Team van.
Oh wow.
So I wanted Rampage to look like Mr. T,
Okay.
and I painted him, and I put a gold chains around him, and I made him camouflage pants, and I was all proud of it. And someone told me, "Hey, you should post it on this website called Figure Realm." And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And have you ever heard of Figure Realm?
No.
Oh man, if I went on Figure Realm, and it was like all of us toy dorks that like screwing with our toys.
Okay.
A place for all of us to cheer each other on, comment, contests, and it
Hell
just
yeah.
blew my mind. So he was the first figure I uploaded on Figure Realm, and that website really will influence and motivate you to get better
Oh yeah.
and share tips with other people. And that's what started my customizing, like the hobby, kicked it off. I highly recommend. It can get very addicting. I used to go in the contests, like every month they have a contest. And one time I came in third, and you know, it's not about winning stuff, but it was cool.
Hey man, listen. It gets you participating, gets you to meet people. Like you said, nothing is better than when you get into like a community. You guys could start giving each other constructive criticism.
Oh
You
yeah,
just feel that.
there's a girl on there named Christine Honan. Christine, you know Christine. I got a friend in here. Anyway, she started.
The one that did the Tomb Raider?
Yes, she started on Figure Realm doing like a bunch of Lara Croft figures,
Okay.
and someone shared her stuff, and she's like been in like magazines. She's from Australia, I believe. I actually gave her like a career in it. So
Yeah.
check out Figure Realm. As soon as you get off here, check out Figure
I
Realm.
definitely will. I will definitely look that up, and then I will link it in the description in this video, so other people can look it up.
It's a good tool to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of tips in there, and people are very nice in that group.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Like I said, nothing's better than a positive group that just wants you to
Uh,
stay
to
connected.
I got addicted to it for like 5 years. I couldn't stop, and I just stopped because I have my time. I like to just do repaints now, and that site
Okay.
is more about. I do kit bash from time to time, but that site is purely like about the pure custom. You know.
Yeah, taking it apart and mixing and matching and things of that
Yeah,
nature.
yeah.
Yeah.
Loose Collector. No, I'm sorry. Loose Collector. Are you familiar with his toys?
Yes,
Now?
yes.
He started on Figure Realm.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check them out then for sure. So that like I'm glad you said you've been doing it for, you did it for 5 years. So what would you consider to be your best kit bash?
Well, my Rocky Dennis figure, because there's a few reasons. There's a few spoof Rocky Dennis toys out there where he looks like Rocky Balboa and he's dressed as like a boxer and it's like a reaction figure.
Okay.
But my Rocky Dennis is the only like NECA style real from the movie version in the world.
Oh, wow.
So it's like my claim to fame until he gets made.
Yeah.
So yeah,
One of a
and
kind, essentially.
that was a Governor McFarlane body with like a bunch of sculpt to make the head.
Wow.
And yeah,
Do you find it easy to work with epoxy sculpt and things and things like that on such a small scale?
things that like making armor, things that aren't organic are easier. Like metal and armor, because once you paint it, it could bring out the realism.
Yeah. Okay.
See, Rocky Dennis, the reason why I was able to do a face because his face is so, obviously disformed. It
Yeah.
didn't have to look perfect. It just
Yeah.
had to be a shape. It's certain things are real easy, and you gotta like use tricks.
Mhm.
I couldn't just sculpt like a freaking gun or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's like
That's next
a true
level.
talent.
Yeah, it's next
That's
level.
I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be too busy sculpting and making money.
Do you have any? Do you have your eye on the next custom or the next repaint?
Tone, I'm trying. When I did Mr. Monster, I was so happy because he hasn't been done in that scale ever.
Yeah, that looked awesome, by the way. Very great job
Thank
on
you.
that figure.
I try to do stuff like the Rocky Dennis, like the Mr. Monster. I'm also, this isn't about like me patting myself on the back. This is just how I approach it. I did a Roddy Piper from They Live
Okay.
like 10 years ago,
That's right on.
and I did a Marty McFly Back to the Future figure that at the time were the first 6-inch movie style figures before NECA did them. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to do, but it's hard because everything is getting made.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. My buddy used to kit bash figures, and then like it seemed like he would make it, and then a week later they would announce it.
Yeah,
and it
it's
just
really.
and it'd be like, you did all that work, and then you'd be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So the Nada They Live figure, I shared the recipe because it was like a NECA Duke Nukem body
Okay.
and just a wrestling like Jack Specific Roddy Piper head,
Yeah.
but a bunch of sculpt to make the collar on the shirt.
Yeah.
And when I shared that recipe, a bunch of people like made the figure, and I was just like, "Look what I created!" It was a really cool moment.
I mean, that feels good when you're the first. Like
Yes.
when you're the first, and they all refer to you.
Yeah,
That's a good feeling, man.
I'm just one of the dumb ones that just doesn't make any money off of it. 'Cause I can't let it go.
Yeah, but it's for the love of the game, and you did it because you love that character. So it's it's got a sentimental value, essentially.
Yes, because usually I make stuff that I like a lot. So
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you make something and you put that much time and effort into it, there's a hard number to put on that before when you say, all right, yeah, I can let it go.
And the Rocky Dennis, I've had offer. I don't know about. I've never talked about money with people, but I've had offers from like so many different people for that figure.
Yeah. But listen, hey, that means you did a great job.
Oh yeah.
That means that is literally a piece of art that someone wants to put on their shelf.
Yes.
You know, and that's one of the things that that makes me I love building. Like I'm a big diorama guy. I like making dioramas now. I kind of kit bashed figures. I just was very bad with paint. Like I couldn't spend the time to sand joints so that the paint wouldn't rub. I just didn't. I don't have the patience for that. So,
I know it's not fun. That part isn't fun. Yeah.
So I usually tend to stick to diorama making and stuff like that. And when I'm done with them, I kind of tend to look. Like I said to my wife a couple of days ago, I said I would like to open up like a gallery for action figures and dioramas. And then because people around this community are all artists in their own way. And I don't think enough people are getting light shined on or it's not getting taken as seriously because it's toys. But some of these dioramas I see blow my mind, and some of these custom figures, I'm like, wow, that looks like something you would buy, like the companies would make.
I just had a light bulb go off, Tony. If you have a bunch and I have a few, we can set up at the Ann Street Gallery in Newburgh, which is a nice place. I know people.
I know that.
Street,
yeah, I know that place too. Yeah, I know that place too.
We can do it.
I would be very interested in that. Maybe we can.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for real. Because I got a lot. I don't know if you watched. I did this tribute to the Undertaker. Just like a small. I do these things called one hitters, where it's just like a 1 minute video, just a couple quick cuts, more cinematic than photography. Like photography to me is kind of like a third or fourth hobby. I'm not really a good photographer. I'll never claim to be a great photographer, but I'm more of a videographer. That's what I do for a living is videography and stuff like that. So I'm more cinematic. So when I made it, I made the Buried Alive set from scratch. Yeah. And it's in my garage now, just sitting there. And I'm like, to put this in a gallery or set it up with the Undertaker the way I had it was like an art piece.
It's a great idea. Let's do it, man. Let's have a toys as art show or something.
Dude, I came up with a name. It's funny because it just made me it was a roll off the tongue. It's a diary, but you spell it diary. So it's kind of because it's a piece of someone. When you make those things, you're making it with your own creativity and your soul, man. So it's a piece. It's like I said, it's a piece of fucking art. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
So I would love to curate it and get pieces from everybody. The two of us start, but I would love to because there's so many great artists out there that make such great work, man. I follow so many people on these channels, and I'm just the toy community loves these people, but I wonder if the actual community sees how great these mini worlds are that people are creating. And some of these amazing photographers like Sir Dork, obviously I'm not going to sit here and regurgitate names, obviously you know them, but you see their work and you're just like, god damn, man, it deserves to be hanging in a gallery or some shit, for real.
I know. I agree.
So I would love to do that, man. So I got one more question before we can just shoot the breeze. Unless you got things you got to do, because I know you have some.
The questions are fun. I feel important over here.
All right. You are one of the heads or the guys in charge for the Newburgh Toy Show.
Yes.
How did that come about? Were you guys just we need something in this area? What was going on?
Exactly. So there used to be an old Newburgh Toy Show, a guy named Tim who moved on to do purely wrestling shows.
Okay.
It didn't really have a name. It was just Toy Show. Me and a few friends went to Toy Con, New Jersey. You go to Toy Con.
Yeah.
And we get back, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, it's why don't we just do a show? Let's just see what happens. And if people come, they come." And I was just like, it could work because there's not, you see the Target shelves are empty, Walmart shelf is empty.
For real.
People must be buying them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we had a connection with the movie theater, and it seemed romantic to have films mixed with toys, because ideally if you're buying an Iron Man figure, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
And we thought that would work, and a lot of people came to that first show, but I guess the building itself wasn't great for a toy show, because the hallway, people didn't like being in the hallway. But the show was a success, and we just figured we're going to do it until nobody comes. And We'll be doing our 9th show
I know, man. It's great.
in April. Yeah.
I'm excited because I found quite a few great finds at that Newburgh Toy Show multiple times.
I know. It's funny you say that. I was looking for a Nightwing McFarlane. For some reason, it's up to like $80, and I didn't want to spend $80 on a McFarlane figure.
Yeah.
And I'm working the door, you know, I was hanging out, and the vendor behind me had the Nightwing figure, and I got it for $30. I'm like, I brought the freaking Nightwing to me.
I usually go there with like, cause I'm right now, like in terms of like completionist in me, like I'm caught up.
Yeah.
So now it's about army building. So
Okay.
the last show I went to, the last Newburgh Toy Show I went to, there was a guy just sitting there selling classifieds, and he had just a line of ninjas. And I walked up to him, and I was just interested, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Man, I'll just sell you these for this price." And I just looked, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "No."
Isn't that
I was
great?
like, "I'll take the whole line." And he goes, "For us," I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the whole thing." So it's like,
Oh, that's awesome.
and that's happened multiple times because like the first time I went, all the way in that little corner of that hotel, they had this just rack and had all these Masterverse figures. And at the time, I had just started collecting them, so I was just like kind of iffy. And I walked in, and this guy turned and goes, "Listen, I don't want to bring all these home. So just
Oh, it's the best.
at this price, you can have." And I just winded up walking out with almost a whole rack of figures, and that just started my Masterverse obsession. Like I love those figures, man.
Well, I actually need a bigger location. I could have like 30 to 40 more tables if I found a bigger location.
I bet you could, because that is growing fast.
It's just hard. A price point and location is key. And I hope to find a spot, you know.
A big enough spot, because when I went in at this last one, I couldn't believe how big it had gotten. I was like, "This is amazing. This is exactly
110 tables."
Yeah.
So I say this because I'm a numbers guy, because I used to love sports, so numbers stick out to me.
absolutely."
110 tables. It's the biggest show of its kind in this area. Not New Jersey. I mean, just purely toys. It's the biggest toy show in this area.
Oh, that's a great accomplishment, man.
Yeah, thank
Because
you.
like for me, being a toy collector, it is so annoying to go to stores like Target and Walmart because they're always ravaged. Nothing is there.
I've been there 3 times this week looking for a stupid Duke, Scarlet, Spider, and all this shit. It's not there.
No, never.
Granted, it might be at the Newburgh Toy Show for $60, but you know what? I would rather just buy it for $60 than search every freaking day of my life.
I've gotten into the just the habit nowadays. I know it's not, because I know people love the thrill of the hunt, but I just go on Big Bed, pre-order it,
Me too.
because it's just because it's just to a point now. I was like, I'd rather just wait and then just have it come in the mail, man. Because I've even gotten the dreaded where you buy the figure and you open it and it's not the figure. It's happened to me a few times.
That happened to you? That's
And it's like it's just a nightmare, and just like, are you kidding me? You know, so that's why I just at Big Bad Toys. I don't really do it. Do you do Entertainment Earth? Because I just can't. That
it's too
shipping
long.
is crazy.
Big Bad Toy Store, I like it because if I find the figure, I can cancel that day. I could one time a figure was processed. Didn't say shipped,
wow.
but I found the figure that day and they canceled the processed order. No questions asked. I called them, they canceled it.
Yeah, Big Bad Toys seems to just no hassle. I never have a
Great
problem with them. I mean, sometimes you gotta wait. Like I noticed everybody's getting a Quick Kick and all.
Yeah, mine is still on pre-order.
Mine too. Yeah, so I'm still waiting. I mean, I don't care because it's just like, all right, I'm a patient guy. I can wait. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But it's the hunt is not worth it anymore. Like right now, I'm trying to find the starting line of basketball hoops.
Yep.
They weren't at Ollie's. I went to Ollie's. The players were there, the shitty ones, you know. But I just really want, because in my head I want to build a basketball diorama so bad.
Oh, if you're a diorama guy, there you go. But then have weirdos playing each other that don't even play basketball.
Exactly. Like there was these pictures I used to see online of like Thanos draining a three.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and like those things, they made me laugh, and I'm like, I would love to kind of put my own take on that stuff. So I like that. So when I saw that those were in Ollie's, I ran there, hoping that those. I just wanted
Middletown
to.
one is just
Terrible.
Of course.
Terrible. I mean, I found a few things in them. I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe this is here.
Even when Toys R Us was in Middletown, it always was a disappointment.
It was
I
always
liked going there, but it was always blown out.
It was always
A lot of
disaster.
collectors in this area.
I didn't know that.
A lot of collectors, yeah. Why did the toy show?
Yeah. So listen, man, I can't thank you enough for that, because that gets me out of the house, brother. For real. You know?
Good.
And like I said, my offer, I made you an offer. If you do get a bigger venue and you want more people to come and you think wrestling, I could definitely make that happen for you. Like,
I would want a wrestler if it didn't see when the Newburgh Toy Show, when Tim had it and it started to go downhill, the wrestlers affected the toys because he needed to take up space for the wrestlers, like 6 tables.
Yeah.
And he only used one room. So if I can get a big enough area where it doesn't interfere, and you know what I mean? It's the best of both worlds. It totally would do it.
I mean, when it comes to shows, man, you could do it in the parking lot. You know, you could always think of things like I said. We can always work within to make it work. You understand? So like I'm always about like, and shit, I would broadcast it live.
Okay.
Because I have another channel. I have a company that just does wrestling. It's called False Finish Productions. So, you know, we have a big following there. So I would definitely do it live from there and make sure we put over the Newburgh Toy Show and everything like that.
We got to talk then because we've been looking for something else to, you know, we needed a bigger spot, and then if you have attraction, you know, ultimately a bigger spot would mean
more people.
It would be more expensive, more people. I'd have to bump up the ticket price from $5 to $10. But if I had a reason for it, you know,
it would entice everybody to not mind paying that money for sure.
Right.
No, I agree.
'Cause I looked at other spots, but they want like $5-6 grand. I can't afford that. You know, I wouldn't be making it. I'd be losing money probably.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I do. Dude, listen, I being involved in the wrestling game, you learn that quickly. You know, because when I used to run shows, it's just I was told by many promoters, they said straight up, don't look to just break even. Like,
oh, wow.
Do not ever look to be in the green because it's not going to happen. At least it's not going to happen for a while.
Initially, yes.
Yeah, so they always said, just if you break even, take that as a win and go home. Don't complain that you broke even. Just that was a win. God. You know, and that's coming from guys who would sink their life savings into the business, and it's just like Jesus Christ. So it was one of the reasons why I got out. On the promoting side, because it's just handling 100 egos at once, then dealing with all that, then having to deal with, God forbid, anybody gets hurt.
Sure.
I can only imagine with when you run the Newburgh Toy Show, what you guys are going through that day of and stuff like that. You know,
it's madness.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, and so trust me, I know what it feels like. But whatever I can do to help, like I said, when I started this channel, it was literally to start this podcast to talk to guys like you, and just not be a stranger, because I just want to be friends with everybody in this community. I want people to know my face, so when they see me out there, they can say hello. And like I said, if I see you in the wild, it's just, we're not strangers no more, you know?
Yeah, I have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the ride so far, and I could talk toys with anybody, and it's so much better than talking about, you know, death and taxes, right? And politics and COVID and Republicans and Democrats. It's that adult talk, man. That's kept me away from like jobs before. You know, I used to drive a garbage truck.
Okay.
And when you drive a garbage truck, everybody assumes I know everything about cars. I don't know a fucking thing about cars. I know they have a steering wheel and wheels, right? Okay. I'm in this big garbage truck. I don't know shit about the thing. I know, but I could tell you, you know, what Clark Kent, you know, where he works.
That's very true, man.
Oh yeah, I've avoided adult conversations, so trust me. Talking about this stuff and being able to meet people in public. I hate talking like this stuff because it sounds like I'm freak. Actually, for the first time I started this YouTube thing, a guy at ToyCon that was a vendor gave me $10 off because he liked my channel, and I was just like, I know, it was really cool. I was like,
it's those little moments where you're just like,
I was like,
hey man, I'll take it. You know, fuck it. Thank you.
Toy games, right? I was like, I am. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, I like your channel. He was like, yo, I'll give you $10 off. That was really cool. So.
That's it. Just listen. Hey, the face discount. That was all it is, man.
I mean, because ideally, Tony, I am doing this channel to talk, like you said, to talk to people. And when I get it's funny, when I see a big YouTuber and they'll say at the end of the video, hey, if you agree or disagree, drop a comment. I'd love to have a conversation about this, right? And then the YouTuber doesn't comment to one person, not even the first person who commented.
Yeah, very true.
You didn't comment. You don't want to have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah.
So stop it.
You just want that algorithm to work in your favor.
Yeah.
For
On
real,
the
man.
paycheck.
Yeah, like I said, everybody I talk to, I always tell them this. I do this for the love of the game. I love this.
Yeah.
I love the toy game. I love playing with them. That's why I did the play motion stuff. That's why I do stop motion stuff. I'm one of those guys, like, I want a return on the investment. So if I'm going to sink all this money into it, I just want to see something completed on my channel. I'm not making it to become famous. I don't, by any means, you know, but I just want to, like, have a record of it when I look back and go, that's why you spent all the money on these things. You know, like that's what it's about.
It is definitely it's a memory being saved for you. Absolutely.
100%, man. 100%. Like I listen, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you, brother.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
For real, man. Like, I could do this all day. You know. What toys are you excited about coming out for real? That's what question I wanted to ask you. I forgot to ask you.
Oh, my friend just found this thing that I can't find. Listen. I don't even know when the Ben Reilly storyline. But I'm searching this figure. My friend brought him over so I could review it and gush over it. I'm looking for this thing. So Tony, if you find this,
Absolutely, dude, I'll pick it up for you and let you know. I'll send it right over to you.
I will say this: the toy line right now that gets the juices flowing. Where like when I see a picture, I'm like, you know, I salivate and my nipples get hard. The NECA Dungeons and Dragons line is just.
Oh yeah, you put that War Duke over hard. I know.
War Duke was my figure of the year.
Yeah.
And even if I didn't like the toy line growing up, there's something about muscly guys and swords that just always like get me fucking going. I don't know what it is. Oh yeah,
it's a sickness, brother. Trust me, I'm the same. I'm the same way, man. I tell my wife.
I was walking down the street and a top 10 like Pam Anderson or whatever, you know, I'm just on the left and a He-Man dude was on the right. I'd be locked in on that fucking dude with the sword, man.
Man, I'm sorry, he's got a sword. He's more badass. It's more badass.
Yeah, absolutely. So that Dungeons and Dragons line, I actually spoke to Randy in the flesh about that toy line.
Awesome.
And he said there's definitely trying to hit at least 10 figures, which I think is, that toy line didn't get to like 100 figures like Motu or G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And it kind of got really crazy. If that hits 10 figures, I'll be fine. So,
are you a Dungeons and Dragons fan? Have you ever played D&D?
No, I don't have the patience. I played crossbows and catapults before, but that's like moron D&D. It's like the things physically hit each other. It's not about math and storyline. I just love the cartoon and I love the artwork of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome. I currently am involved in a game of D&D. Play every Friday.
Really?
Play every Friday night. Yeah, it's
I'm
fun.
jealous of stuff like that because it's a camaraderie, right?
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's fun, and it's just a way to keep in touch with certain friends that like buddy from high school.
How long does an average game take? Like you have to start the next day?
No, we usually just whenever we get together. Our buddy is the dungeon master, so he has everything written down, and he basically gives us a recap when we get together. And then he basically tells, you know, this is where you are, and now here's the scene. Let's go to work. Fun. Yeah, it's a good time. Like I said, it's a good way to kill 2.5 hours. It's usually about 2.5 hours. We don't go that long. You know, everybody's old. Everybody wants to go to bed. Everybody wants to go to bed early. And
you get tired.
Yeah,
nature just starts. It's funny.
For real, man. You know, so but like I said, it's a great way to keep in touch with old friends and things like that. And it's nice to play pretend. I love playing pretend, man.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
You know? Like I said, life is beautiful. It could be a downer. So use the other thing in life to elevate it.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Like I said, I feel this is playing with toys, talking about toys, hanging out with the same people who have the same mindset. To me, is the safest feeling in the world. You know, because you don't feel ridiculed, you don't feel judged, and everybody has a good time. Everybody does the same thing, man. So, toys have saved me a few times with depression and anxiety. Like I said, I'm not going to beat that dead horse, but playing with them things, taking photos of it just takes you to such a positive space.
Absolutely. Listen, you form a bond with something that's inanimate, and it's for a reason. It's a little piece of art, and say we talked about the Mike Tyson figure earlier.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm now closer to Mike Tyson without him knowing it, as I own a piece of him, and I can manipulate it, and it takes me out of whatever thing you didn't like for that day.
Man, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because obviously being in a big wrestling guy, when I got the WWE Ultimate Edition Macho Man Randy Savage from the NWO, which is like my favorite version of Randy. Aside from Macho King, I don't give a shit when anybody says Macho King was one of the best the best heels in the business.
It was funny.
But you know, you hold that figure, you take it out of the package, and I'm immediately taken back to 1997, watching WCW, watching him come out and do his thing. And so it's like, man, like these things, like you just said, inanimate objects hold so much power.
Yeah.
You know?
I was so the Epoch Times came to one of the Newburgh Toy Shows, which is cool because they're an independent news group who just they do the news how they say it. That they don't have a horse in the race. And she said, you know, you don't want to give me a quote, and I'm not like a, you know, never had to come up with a quote on the spot, and I just was like, you know, toys are like a window to our past, and there might be a toy that you forgot even existed or that you had, and you'll see it and it'll take you to that part in your childhood or your life, and it just you'll escape from the reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And it happens to me all the time. I'll see a figure, and there was a toy I saw at ToyCon that I haven't seen since I was in camp at like 9 years old, and it was like a Mad Balls figure or something kooky, and it was just like, holy shit, I remember some kid bringing this to camp, and I remembered where I was sitting when I saw the toy. I could almost freaking feel the breeze in my freaking beard. I don't have hair, so it's a really strange thing that I don't think other people that don't collect toys, they don't get it. So,
That's exactly. Like every time, and it happens every time. It's like a dopamine hit, whatever you want to call it. But every time a figure, whether it comes to the big bad toys, whether it comes when you pick and you find, and as soon as you take it out of the box, it's that same thing. Like I remember watching this cartoon, I remember reading this book, I remember seeing this movie, and it's immediately just taken to that safe space. Where it's just like, fuck, man, can I live in this? Can I live in this space forever? You know?
This was on sale, and I already had a Boba Fett Black series, but I guess this one is like definitive.
Okay.
And I just held off on it because of the price, but I got it on sale, and I can't wait to open it. That dopamine rush, that feeling of like being a kid again.
And tearing over that package and just putting all the things in his hands. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I just did that with Ken because my Street Fighter Ken figure showed up today, and I couldn't wait to get him out of the package, and I'm just like, this Jada Toys, like Street Fighter to me is another way like how I bonded with my brother, because that was like the first game we played together. You know, obviously it's a fighting game, so we played it together a lot with Sega. I forgot which one came out for Sega. It was Street Fighter 2. I always forget what the dumb sub name was. Whether it was
Champions Edition, Turbo Super Edition,
all that shit. Yeah, so I always forget the name of it. But we immediately when Ryu came, I opened it up. That's where I was sitting next to him, playing that game, and immediately went on. Pre-ordered Bison and Dalsim, ordered the rest. And I was like, "Yep, these are my new new ones." Yep.
They're supposedly on shelves too, but I haven't found them. So
I haven't found them neither in stores. Yeah, no. Yeah, and are they saying the new ones are too already? Dalsim and Bison. I haven't seen that anywhere. No. But listen, man, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you, for real.
Hey, too, man.
And anytime, anytime you need anything, if you need any dioramas, you need shooting stuff, you need help with anything,
I'm gonna probably hit you up and ask you a question about paint in like an hour. So be prepared.
Oh, I'll be ready, buddy, for real. So
and I think we should talk about that art show, because it's a good idea. And I could bring custom figures. You could bring the dioramas. And we'll send out invites, and we'll dress fancy, and you know.
Dude, I'm interested. So yes, please hit me up, because listen. I'm not saying that it's going to be a huge success, but I'm saying like all these guys who make these things, all these gals, whoever, submit, and I think we can have something beautiful. We could start something beautiful.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm in for it, man. So thank you for hanging out, man. Do you want to put anything over? I know your channel is Toy Gains. Is it all?
My channel, listen, my channel's Toy Gains. It's anything that's on my mind that week. It could be an overpriced McFarlane figure. It could be Mezco dropping the ball on a release. It could be this Scarlet Spider. It's very random. I'm not a super fan to anything. I don't get anything for free, so you're just going to get my opinion for that week. I try to keep it positive, but every once in a while I go on some stupid rant, and been having fun.
Do you have like a set posting schedule, or is it just?
I used to, but now I don't want to force anything. When I had the set schedule tone, I felt like I was forcing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
I did a John Tenta video because I happened to watch Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. Such a sad show, right? You watch that show, you feel so bad.
God, I cried my eyes. So I have that toy, so now that toy means a little more to me after seeing his life story.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Hey, it's basically just a peek into your mind.
Sure.
Is the best way to describe your channel, because like whenever I watch your stuff, it's like, oh, he just wanted it. This is on his head. This is on his mind.
Yeah.
He just wants to get it out, So
yes,
I love your channel, dude. Please keep the great content coming. Please keep the great like today, telling everybody, don't give up on this Batman thing. Just look at your local stores. You might find it. So I appreciate those tips. I appreciate the kit bashes, like that Mr. Monster or whatever his name was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Awesome figure. That Dark Knight Returns.
it came out.
Whew, did that come out good?
Yeah, I know, right? That was like, light bulb went off. Like, oh, I have this bald head sitting around, and I can just pop it on here and paint it. Yeah.
Damn, I was like, that looks legit. Like McFarlane paid him to make that shit.
I got him right here before we go.
I mean, that's hell of
It's
of
good.
work. And now, is that what's his face from Dune?
Yes.
That's the head. Okay, I'm just making sure because
That's the name on the box too. What's his face?
What's his face? Right? I was like, that's Elvis. I think that's Elvis's head. But thank you, Angelo. I appreciate this, man. Like I said, just shoot me a message. I'll always answer back. Like I said, you got a friend here for life going forward. And I hope to see you in person in the area. I assume we're local because you brought up a lot of stuff that I know. So if I see you in the wild, please say hello if I don't see you first. And I can gladly say hello to you. And any tips that I can offer you, whether it be building, paint, whatever. I'm an open book.
I'm telling you, in like an hour, when I get this, I'm gonna take pictures and I'm gonna ask you in like an hour.
100%. Thank you so much, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And everybody, thank you for joining us. Just follow me at Legend Series. It's across the board. And this has been Talking Figures. That's Angelo. I'm Tony. As always, keep playing.
Take care.